Hello friends, a very warm welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today we are going to learn something different, which is going to be the Stripe payment gateway, how to integrate that using Capacitor in our Ionic project. So today we are going to test it out. So let's get started with this video. So before starting the video, I would like to tell you that if you haven't checked my courses yet, these are the courses which are available. Do check it out. Links are there in the description. So with that being said, let's dive into our today's video. So in this video, we are going to integrate our Stripe payment gateway to our application, and we will also use NodeJS for our backend purpose. So let's get started with this. Now I have already created a new project, which you can see out here. This is the command that I have used for creating a new project, and it is ready to go. Now after that, the project is opened up, and let me just close this. Out here in our project, at first we need to integrate the Stripe publishable key and the secret key. For that, you will learn how to fetch the keys. Alright, so the API keys you will get to know. Let's go to the browser and work with that. I will show you again from the very beginning. So Stripe, let's call it developer login. Okay, I'll just go inside that. Now out here, well, we don't need to go for the login. We just have to go for the sign up. Now in the sign up, it is asking me for the name, email, full name, then the country and the password. And that's how it's going to get created. So let me just enter it quickly, and you enter your own stuff. Okay. So it is getting created and it has opened up. Now I think I got some activation on my mail. So this is the mail that I received. Let me click on it and I'll continue to dashboard. I'll log in and it has opened up. That's great. Now activate payments, obviously I need to do that up. For this you need to give your business location. Okay, type of company, let me go for individual. All right, I need to give certain details of my, which I won't show you up, and in fact the phone number and PAN number also it's needed, so go for that. Okay, I'll also enter my own details. So I've entered all the details. Now I can simply go for continue. Alright, the next thing it is asking me, please select your industry. So let me go for software one. Then do you wish to collect payments from website? I will go for app. If you want for website also, simply you can pass it up. But everywhere you need to pass your business website name, then the support URL service and whole lot of stuff. Well, if you don't have that, simply give anything. Out here, I'll simply give my domain name. Alright, and everywhere I'll do the same. You can also pass this in the similar manner, and nothing else you need to do. Okay, and I'll simply click on continue after that. Statement, descriptor, techniques.com. See, let me call it Maja 8. Okay, let me give you one liner. Fine, and I will hit on continue. Now getting ready. The next details to fill up is your bank details and secure your account. So I'll just enter my bank details and I won't show you that part also. And remember one thing, in the previous one, we have given the URLs everywhere. Well, that is the important part. If you don't give the URL for support and other stuff, then you will face some issue like you won't be able to accept some payments or something or the other. So it's better to pass that. Now my details are ready. I'll simply click on continue and it is redirected to another page. Alright, keep your account secure. I will use an authenticator app. Basically, you need to install an authenticator app in your system. Even if you don't have an authenticator app, you can simply go for SMS also, but I will install using an authenticator app. Okay, that is the most secure one. So it is giving you a QR code. Now download the free Google Authenticator app and add a new account out there. So mostly for iOS, let me just tell you which is the authenticator app that I am using. The name of it is Duo Mobile, DUOMOBILE. Okay, so you can simply use that up. Otherwise, if you don't have any authenticator, let me repeat again, you can use the SMS one too. No harm in doing. Alright, so I'll just simply scan the QR code in my phone and that will be done. Alright, now I'll simply hit on continue and we'll pass a passcode which I got. I won't show you that, or you can see also it will get changed in some time. So the authenticator app is successfully done, and now this time I'll hit on continue and I got some missing required information. Let's check it out. Well, it is saying you need to provide 1 to 2 sentence description regarding your application. So I'll save it, and this time I don't think we have any issue, so I'll simply click on agree and submit. And now it is saying your account is now active. That's great, and we can check out here. We have the publisher key and the secret key. Okay, now if you click on this button, you will be able to see your key and you can click on reveal to check that out. Okay, so if I click on reveal, it will show you the secret key, but don't show it to anybody. Even I am not showing you up. All right. Now remember, this is the live mode that you are watching. Okay. If you want to access it in test mode, definitely you need to enable it. Now you will see the publishable key and the secret key will be different. Okay. PK test. That's how it started. Earlier it was PK live. So you need to remember that up and you need to integrate that in your system. All right. So now you have got the keys. Let's integrate that with our project. So for that I need to go to this src folder in the environment, in the prod and ts file. I'm going to integrate that, and for integrating it up I will simply add this particular stuff. Now this will be my publishable key and the secret key. This is in test mode, and for in the prod one I'm going to paste the live one. Okay, so let me just paste it. This is my live one. So Stripe, I've created an object kind of a stuff, and not exactly kind of a stuff, it's an object which has the publishable key and the secret key. Now it is ready. Let me just close this. All right. Once the integration is done, now we need to work with the plugin one. So for working with the plugin, let me just show you how exactly we are going to work. For that, I need to go to the browser. So my browser is opened up. Now I'll simply go for Capacitor Stripe. Let me hit enter. Now this is the plugin that I get, which is from the community, because there is no direct plugin that is available for Capacitor Stripe. It is available for Cordova, but that also doesn't work that great. It works for Android. I think in iOS there is some problem with that. So that is why this plugin is pretty much better to work with. It works in Android and iOS both. So let me just open it up. And alright. So now in order to install it, it's pretty simple. You simply need to click out here, copy it up and open your terminal and just paste it. Okay, it will get installed. And now what exactly do we get out here? You can go to the official documentation also. All right, I have opened it up. Along with that you can see demo code and other stuff also if you want. These are the API functionality that we get to work with. That's great. Okay, we are going to check the important ones only. Now okay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever it's there. So a lot of stuff is available. Let me just skip that part, go to the introduction one. So this is the official documentation of Stripe with Capacitor. Now out here, I'll simply go to the configuration directly from here. And this is the installation part, which we have already run. Now the next part is to run this syncing one. But before syncing it up, we need to run it. We need to add the platforms for Android and iOS. So let's do that quickly. So Ionic App. Okay, let me just change the package name at first. In my package.json file, I will not package.json, capacitor.config.json file. Let me just change the package name to be com.technics app, test app. Let me just give test app. Okay, because the name should be unique, right? That's why now I can simply add iOS. All right, the iOS one is added. Now I'm going to go for Android one also. Alright, both the platforms are added now. You can see the folders out here. Now what exactly do I need to do? Well, let's check one by one, but let me run this command now. Now if I run directly this command, there will be some issues. So I need to run Ionic build actually, which I think it is already run because I have already added the platforms. So we must be having the www folder. No, we don't have actually, not a problem. Let me just run it up. Alright. Now we do have, I think there are some changes maybe, and we see a www folder. That's great. Now you can simply run this command, hit enter. In fact, instead of this, you can run Ionic App sync also. Okay, this is done. The next thing, you need to add this Android configuration and the iOS configuration. For iOS, it's pretty simple. Copy this up, go to the application, search for info.plist file, and I'm using command plus P for Mac and Control plus P for Windows. That's a command to check this kind of a search. Okay, work with this kind of a search. So now I'll paste it out here in this particular manner. This is for camera uses description. Basically, if you want to use camera, you need to ask the user for the permission. That is why it is being used. Now for the Android one, let me just copy this up, the whole stuff, and I will go to main activity.java file, and let me simply replace it. All right, and in Capacitor version 4, this particular stuff should go at the top and super.onCreate should come at the bottom. That's what we have seen in the documentation earlier also for Capacitor version 4, but you just check it once again, okay? Don't need to worry, you can follow it up pretty nicely. There won't be any issue. Okay, now the integration part is done. We don't need to do anything else. For web, definitely you can check a lot of stuff, but let's move ahead to the Angular one. Now for the Angular, this is the configuration that you need to pass in your constructor. All right, let me just go to the home one. Okay, let me minimize this too, and let's move to the home page where I'm going to clear everything from the SCSS at first. Then from the HTML also, let me just clear everything. Okay, and this one, stripe is enough, I think. This one also I'll remove it. Okay, in the TypeScript we don't have anything. Now in the constructor I'm simply going to paste it up, and we can import it because we have already installed it. Okay, once this is done, you need to pass your publishable key, which I'll get it from the environment. So environment imported dot stripe dot publishable key. Now it is imported from environment.ts file. That's great because we are going to work with the test mode at first. Fine. Okay, what is the next step? Well, it is not given. For web, it is saying that we can install in this particular manner. So let's go for it. For installation, okay, let me just paste it, close all this. But I don't think it's going to work properly in web. I'm not 100% sure about it. Now, meanwhile that is being done, let me just copy this one. The plus, only the plus ones we need to add. Now I'll go to the main.ts file and I'll paste it out here in the imports one. Then what exactly do we need to import? The then one. Alright, copy it up, and after this I am simply going to paste it. Fine. So this is also done for the web. That's great. Now let's go to the initialize function where the same thing is shown which we have already implemented. And what does it mean? Means what are the options which you can pass? It is already shown out here. So the documentation is pretty nicely written. Okay, you can just check each and everything and everything pretty nicely. Let's check the payment sheet. So we have 4 models out here. One is a payment sheet, then a payment flow, then Apple Pay and Google Pay. So we are going to implement mostly the payment sheet and payment flow because I think Apple Pay and Google Pay are not working that great. So in the payment sheet, what happens is you can make payments in a single flow. As soon as the user presses the payment button, the payment is completed. If you want user have some flow after that, please use payment flow. So basically if there is any interruption, definitely payment flow can help you, but not the payment sheet one. That is what it's being told out here. All right. And this is a functionality that you need to pass for using the payment sheet functionality actually. All right. So you need to add a listener in your function, then you need to call your backend to get payment intent. What is this? Ephemeral key. Okay, if I'm spelling it wrong, please forgive me. And then the customer. All right, customer ID basically. Then you need to create the payment sheet, and finally the present payment sheet will show up where it will be shown that the payment is completed. And this is the demo how it actually works. Alright, so this is also very nicely set up. All the details are shown out here. You can just go through the documentation. I'll just work with the implementation. So let's get started with this. So I'm going to implement all the functionality in my home page itself. Let me just close all the tabs. And what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the home page and create the functions out here. So I'll paste all the functions, then I'm going to explain you a little bit about it. So let me paste the payment sheet function. So same as that one, but I'm using everything within the try catch block, and we need to import all this stuff which is showing up. Well, we will be using NodeJS, so we need to pass the data as an HTTP params in our HTTP, okay? Because we will be using HTTP client out here. So let me just use or inject HTTP from HTTP client. Alright, but this will still give us the error because we have to go to the app.module.ts file, and in the imports one, I need HTTP client module out here, which I will import. Let me just copy it up and paste it out here from @angular/common/http. Alright, you can see the error is gone. Now I'll simply copy this up, and in the TS file I'll paste it out here and remove this module. Now the error will go away from here also. Now I can simply use it up. Okay, in fact this HTTP params I need to import. Once that is done, it is added out here and we are good to go. Alright, now there is an error is saying that there is no something called data. Now what exactly we are doing? Well, out here in the backend we need to pass some data. Out here it is empty, but we will be passing few data which I'll tell you later on. Okay, so I have made little modification out here which you will see one by one. Now let me just create an object out here, or a property called data, which will be of type any and will be initialized to an empty object. Fine, that's almost the same one, correct? Now this pipe one is being used same as the one that is shown out here. Okay, but I'm not using toPromise because toPromise is deprecated, and instead of that we need to use either first value from or last value from. Now there is a difference between first value from and last value from. I'll make a short video on that, you will be able to understand. Now I'll be using out here the last value from, which I will import from RxJS. Alright, and I need to create an API where we can hit this particular URL. Okay, so we are going to work with the Node.js backend where we are going to create an API for all this stuff. Now in the API one, let me just for the time being, let me just go to the environment.ts file, and after this let me just have an API which I'll keep it as empty. In the prod one also you can do the same. Okay, that's it. Close this two files again, and then we will be getting this particular value. Alright, payment intent, ephemeral, this particular key, and the customer ID. Okay, after that we are going to create the payment sheet where I am passing the merchant display name, which is not available out there. Now if you don't want to learn from anywhere else, you simply click Control or Command, okay, and click on it. Now you can see all the options out here. It takes few options which is of type create payment sheet options. Now if I click on it, you get all the options which you can pass out here. Alright, I hope it's clear to you. And now if you want to go in more details, then you can go for base payment option 2, where you get the secret customer ID, enable Apple Pay merchant ID, whole lot of stuff which you need, and even the merchant display name which I was talking about. So once you get all this stuff, you can pass the things that you want out here and you're good to go. So this is what I have done, and finally we will get the result whether the payment is done or not. So once the payment is done, we are going to check this particular thing whether the payment is completed or not. If it is completed, then you are good to do anything you want. Okay, we can show whatever we want out here, right? So I'll just keep it as it is. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to create the other functionality for payment flow and Apple Pay and Google Pay. Let me just paste directly, then I'll tell you little modifications that we need to do out there. So let me just paste the other functions. So these are the other functions. Let me just minimize this payment sheet, and this is the payment flow one where you simply need to import it. Okay, this thing will remain the same. Now this thing is mainly used for Node.js one, because directly if you're sending the data, it won't take it. This is like a WX encoded format. In that format you need to send the data, then you need to use this up. Alright, otherwise it is not needed for form data. So if you are aware of this stuff, definitely it's great. Then you need to send this particular data. Fine. These things are the same thing only. No change out here, just the function name is changed and that's it. Alright, there is a confirm payment flow also which is needed instead of present. What was the name of the earlier function which we used in our payment sheet? There was a little difference. Let's just check it out. Yeah, present payment sheet. Okay, so instead of that, out here present is done, then the confirmation is also done. So there is a flow in that. Then in the Apple Pay, well, let me just import it up, and we are using the same functionality actually in most places, so we can just minimize it, its load little bit. We will do that, don't need to worry. And out here, well, I have just given an amount, okay, which you need. You can pass it dynamically also if you want. we'll work on that. Okay, and after that the Google Pay also, let me just get rid of all the errors at first, then I'll do the changes one by one. So I think all the errors are gone, right? Now what am I going to do? Let me just start with this functionality. I'll simply pass the data. Okay, so what data exactly you need, you can simply pass it out here, or if you just don't want, definitely yeah, I am already passing the data as which whose property I have already created, so I'm just passing some dynamic data only. Okay, so you can work with that. Now let me just reduce some load. So what am I going to do? I will create another function. Let me create it at the top. Okay, out here let me create it, http post. Let me name it in this particular manner, and where you get the URL along with that the body. Okay, that's what you will be passing. And okay, it is giving error because of the ESLint. It happens in the latest version. In the TS config, you simply go and turn it to false. The error will go away and you don't need to worry about it. All right, now I'll simply return what? Let me just show you this particular value. I will get it till here. Okay, let me just copy it up and I will paste it out here. Instead of this constant, let me just return the HTTP response, whatever. And this particular one, I'll simply change it to any. Why am I doing that? Because if I don't do that up, then in the Apple Pay and Google Pay, we will have payment intent, right? So that won't work out here. That is why it's better to change it up. Okay, because we have three things earlier. Out here we have only one thing, so it's better to pass it any whatever data you get, you can simply pass it out there. Okay, that's how it needs to be done. Now instead of data, you need to pass body and you're good to go. Nothing else you need to do. Now I simply need to make slight change out here. Even if you don't do these changes, then also it's going to work, but this is just the optimization part which I thought of showing you. So let me simply call this dot http post. And what exactly do I need to pass out here? Well, I don't need to pass anything. In fact, I'll directly get the value. I don't need to pass the URL also, and only the body is enough, right? Because we are not working with the URL out here. So in the body, I am simply going to send data. All right, that's it. Pretty simple, right? Okay, copy it up and just replace this with this particular one everywhere. Let me do it out here also. One liner. Okay, that is done. Let me do it out here also, and it's completed now. All right, so reduced to a great extent. Now let me just call it anything. Let me call it techniques only. Okay, and the country code, well, I'll change it to IN, and the currency also INR, Indian rupee. Well, you can change as per your country requirement. Okay, all right, so I think it's clear. Let's change out here also INR, identifier, techniques, any name you can give, I suppose, techniques, and the amount is given like 1099.00. That means in INR you need to pay 10.99 rupee, or in if it is in dollar, then you need to pay $10.99. That's how it is identified, or it is given multiplied by 100. It is showing up out here. Okay, I think we are good to go. Now in HTML, I'm going to create few buttons to work with this. Let's do that. So the home page, let me just paste few code. So I've created 4 buttons out here and I've given the color to be primary. Now it's time to check this up. So let me just run in Ionic Serve. Let's run it in the browser and check each and every stuff. Alright, it has opened up in the browser. I'll minimize it up in this particular manner, inspect it. Okay, take it outside and let me select iPhone 12 Pro. That's fine. Alright, so minimize it up. Now these buttons are showing up. In fact, you can give some padding also, spacing, whatever you want. Let me give out here class equals to iron padding. Alright, now it looks nice, right? Okay, so moving ahead, if you click whatever I done out here, let me just show you. If you click on this payment sheet button, the payment sheet function will be called. Similarly, if you click on payment flow one will be called, and rest the same. Okay, now the only thing which I need to work with is in the TypeScript one at the very top out here. in the data one. So let me just change this data at first. So I'm going to paste this particular data, the name, email, amount I've given 100, that means 1 rupee, okay, because the currency is INR. In dollar if you give, then also it's $1, okay. So that's the thing, it displays out here. Now few things are still left. Let me just go to the documentation to show you that part. So in the documentation, I have just shown you the payment sheet. Now in the payment flow one, this functionality, well, I have already passed out there, okay, in the similar manner. Then you need to pass or work with the Apple Pay functionality, which is also the same. You will find similar things out there, whatever I have done. And in the Google Pay, well, there are a few things which I need to explain you. So in the Google Pay, you need to work with the strings.xml and Android manifest.xml along with the Google Pay functionality. So you need to just scroll to get to the next one in this particular manner, the Android manifest one, and scroll to the little bit more to get to the Google Pay functionality. All right. So this is the Google Pay functionality. And if you want to learn about anything, you can just check the documentation. But the important things I have already shown it out here in the code, because there is few things which I have added, which is the merchant display name. Well, if you don't give this, your app will crash most of the time in Android or iOS. Okay, so you need to pass this merchant display name in all the functions. Okay, that is why I'm passing it everywhere wherever it's needed. All right. Okay, so moving ahead, I hope it's clear to you. Now what exactly I need to work with is the ones which I have already shown you out here. So Android manifest and strings.xml. Let me work with this. So in my code, I'll just go to the Android manifest.xml file, and after this provider, where exactly do we need to give? Scroll again, and out here after the provider, I need to pass it. So let me just paste it out here, and I will just uncomment it. Okay. So this is the things that you need to pass. Now let's search for strings.xml. This is the one. Let me go out there, and I need to add few more things out here, and that will be, let me just scroll a little bit more. So this is the stuff that I need to add. Simply let me copy it up and I'll paste it out here. I simply need to change few things, which is like the country code you can change, and the merchant display name. Let me just give techniques out here. Okay, along with that, Google Pay is testing. Okay, you can set it to true, whatever you want, and you need to give out here your publishable key, which I'll set it. I won't show you that part. Okay, so after that is done, you can move ahead. Alright, so let me just close all the files, and I'll simply go to the homepage TS file. Now everything is ready except the backend one. So let's quickly set up the backend, then we can test it pretty easily what exactly it is showing up. Okay, so for the backend, I need to create another project. Now I already have a folder called Stripe test in my Node.js project folder directory, which I have already created. You don't need to do anything. You can just create any folder anywhere, and within this particular folder, let me just get inside this. So cd, I'll go inside the Node.js projects, within which I have this Stripe test folder. Okay, and what am I going to do out there? I'm simply going to run npm init, okay, this particular command to create a Node.js project. That's it. So now it is asking me to pass a package name. So let me just give any package name, Stripe test. Okay, version, just hit enter. I think it will take it. Any description, index.js file, that's fine, just hit enter. All right, yes. Alright, it's done. Now we have the package.json file. Congratulations. Now what am I going to do? I'm simply going to install Express, npmi express. Okay, let me hit enter. Alright, once that is done, I'll just do a simple stuff. I'll create an index.js file. Or let me just open this particular project in Visual Studio Code. Okay, now let me create a file called index.js. Okay, now out here I'm simply going to work with the project now. Okay, so in the project, what exactly do I need? So out here I will at first get the Express one in this particular manner. There are no errors, you can see. Now once the Express is imported, then I'll simply create an app a constant where I will access the express functionality, and the port number in which I'm going to run not 800, let's run it in at 3000, not 8000, 3000. Yeah. So the port number is also changed now, and I can simply listen to this particular port, all right, in this particular manner. Okay. So server is up at this particular port. That's what we can track. And in order to check this out, let me just try to run npm start. Let's check it out what happens. Okay, there is no script. Let me just check it in the package.json file. We have only one script. Okay, so I need to create a start script out here. So now after the test, let me just paste this particular one. So node and to the index.js file will be running directly. Let's try to run it again, npm start, or you can run npm run start also. And now you see server is up at 3000. So even you can change it out here, server is running at 3000, and you can install nodemon also just to track for each and every changes. Otherwise you can simply just stop it using Ctrl+C and run it again. You will see the latest changes. Okay, that's how it works. Fine. So our project is set up. Now what am I going to do out here? Well, I need to create an API, right? For that, what am I going to do? I need to integrate the Stripe one also. So for that, I need to add out here npm I Stripe. Okay, so this is the command that I need to install out here. Once that is done, let me just go to the browser and Stripe NodeJS. Okay, let's see the integration. All right, let me open up the first official documentation and see what exactly we need to do. All right, in this particular manner, I need to use the Stripe one. Let me copy it up and I'll go to the application and paste it out here. Okay, so the Stripe one is also ready. Now this, instead of this particular one, I need to pass my serial key. Okay, not the serial, sorry, secret key. That's what I'm going to do. So once that is done, everything is good to go. Now let me just separate these things a little bit. All right, instead of passing the port number out here, okay, let me just pass it because I'm passing in two places. Now, in fact, you can pass the host name also. So the host, because we will be running it locally, all right, that is why I will just pass my IP out here, and this particular one I'm going to move it here. All right, because we can pass the host also in this particular manner. Okay, so basically I'm telling this particular project to run on a particular port number along with the host, means the IP address too. So let me just paste it, and I think it is ready to go. Now let me just close this, and out here, if I just stop this using Ctrl+C, and let me not run it again because I need to check an API for its testing purpose, right? So out here I'm going to just paste an API which is slash. That means I'll tell you right now what happens. Let me just give out here payment sheet only, payment sheet. Okay, if I go to this particular URL, I must see a success response. So I'm going to paste this up, res dot status. I'm passing the status to be 200 and I'm sending it up a string called hello world. Let's check it out whether this works or not in the browser one. So let me just check it out here only. I'll go to this particular URL. Okay, colon 3000 slash payment sheet, but I will not hit enter. Okay, the spelling is wrong. It's fine because I need to run this project. So npm start or npm run start also. Other commands you need to run with npm run. Okay, remember that. So now I'll simply go out here and hit enter. Alright, it is saying cannot get slash payment sheet. Well, basically that will work on a GET request. So let me just make it as GET. I think the post one don't work directly. So I'll just stop this and run this again. Okay, once that is done, let me just go out here. Alright, let me try now. And you can see this is working. So it works with the GET one. Okay, so this is working nicely. Now we can go ahead and work with this lot more. So let me just minimize it up, close this and minimize it up. Okay, this is our backend application where I need to pass few functionalities. So let's work with that one directly instead of passing this particular one. So at first I will get the data from the body. So constant data that will be equals to request.body which we will get from the post data that we are going to send. So we will get that in this particular manner, and after that we are going to create the customer at first. Now for creating the customer, well, let me just paste the code and move this. Alright, so basically you need to create some param data. It's an object basically where we will be passing the name and email, which we will be getting it from the data. So data.email, data.name. Alright, and you can pass the other stuff also if you need to, but I won't do anything of such. I'll remove it, and then we are going to create the customer, well, which I will get it from this Stripe one, which we have already initialized out here. Okay, now the await one will give us the error, because if I need to use async await, definitely I need to pass async out here in this function. Okay, now the error will be gone, and all this functionality, well, we can do everything within the try catch block. I think that is a better option to work with, so let's do it. Try and catch. If I catch any error, I'm simply going to do something. Well, I'll show you, don't need to worry. And in the try block, I'm simply going to paste it. Fine. Once we get the customer, we get the customer ID from the customer. Okay, after the ID is retrieved, next thing we need to work with the payment intent and other stuff. Let me just show you. So after the customer, this is the functionality that I need for this particular key. Well, I need to create it up, okay, using the customer ID and the latest API version. Okay, so you can just simply check it on the internet regarding this. You will find this keys or how to create it pretty easily. And in fact, I'll remove this one also, because this is a constant, right? Okay, everything is good to go. Now let me remove this particular one, because all the data we are going to send it from the front end itself, already in the post data or the params we are going to send. So the amount, the currency, we are going to send it from there itself. Then the ID, we will already get it from here. Okay, and automatic payments, well, I have enabled it up. You can simply check it up, and if you want to learn more about it, simply you just copy it up and go to the browser. Out here you simply search for it, okay, in Node.js, and you will get all the responses out here in this Stripe official documentation. So this is how it is being created. All right, this is for the payment intent, I think, which we have done, right? So this is the payment intent one, and similarly for this one also, you can simply check it out here. So everything is present in the official documentation, just you need to check it up properly. Fine. So this is the object that you get out from that response. In the response, you will get all this stuff. So whatever you need, definitely you can work with this. All right. Now moving ahead, what exactly I need to do? After I get all the response, I need to send a JSON response back to our front. Let's work on that now, because the payment intent we got the key, we got the customer. That means the customer ID we are going to send. So let's work with that. So now I'm going to prepare my JSON response, and I will return it. Not return exactly, I need to send it. So this will be my response, where the payment intent I'm going to send, then the key and the customer. It should be in the same manner which we are triggering out there in our front end, because we are passing this particular things, right? The name should be same, otherwise this object will not be created with this particular values, right? So take that into consideration, don't mess with this. Okay, now this is ready. Let's send it out for sending. So what I'll do, res dot status of 200, that means success, dot send, and I'm going to send this particular response directly. Okay, so in the catch one, I'll simply send it in the next function. Okay, that's it. So I think the functionality is ready for the backend, and we are ready to test now. Okay, so this is running on this particular IP. Now it's time to run our project too. So if I try directly, well, at first I need to pass the configuration in my front end. So this is my front end, and in the environment.prod.ts file, I need to pass the URL. So http colon slash, then the IP colon 3000. Okay, so this will be my API, and finally it is already integrating with this particular functionality. What was the name exactly of the function which I am using, or actually the route name? So the route name is given as payment sheet everywhere. That's fine. So everything is good to go. One more slash, I think I need to pass it out here. Now it's fine, and I'll copy this up. Okay, paste it in the testing one also in this particular manner. And we are good to go. Everything is ready. It's time to test it up. So let me just enlarge it with this particular one. Now let's try it up. Well, I'm not sure it's going to work in the browser as I thought of. It is giving me a course problem. So I need to resolve the course problem. Now for that, let me just minimize it up and I will open up the backend project. Now for that, I'm going to add the course out here. So out here, I'm just going to pass two functionality. One is the course one to use and the other one is the express JSON function. This particular one, if you think this is not in use, you can simply skip this up. And if you want to just check it up, definitely you can go ahead and work with this. What exactly it does, returns middleware that only parses JSON and only looks at requests where the content type header matches the type option. So this is why I'm just giving whether when we are sending the JSON data, it will take it properly. That's why. Okay, so this is ready. I think now the course problem won't be there. Let's check it out again where it is. Okay, let me minimize it up and enlarge it again. Let me try it. Okay, still we are facing it. All right, because the changes we made, I need to like run it again. So let me just stop it and run it again. This time I got an error basically. Cannot find module. I think I need to install it up. So npm I course. Let's run it. Now I think there won't be any problem. Let me run it again. Now it's working. So now everything is ready once again. Let's go out here and start with it again. This time, okay. Well, okay. Actually, again, one minor mistake which I am doing is this will be post method, and I changed it earlier for gate just to check. Now let's run it again. All right, you can use node mode. I think that will be better to use. Okay, so now I think everything is ready. Let me try it. This time we got an error, but this is the header error, I think. Well, right now we are not getting any error for this particular one course, but still there is few errors, and we got an error out here. Basically, it is saying missing amount. Okay, well there we got an error actually, missing amount. How come? Well, data.amount, I'm passing it out here. That should be okay. It is of type any. I think I need to wrap it in parseInt. All right, I think that will solve the problem. I think. Let's check it once again at first. Then I'll work with the emulator and simulators. All right, let's try it again. We click on it. Okay, still I'm getting the error. And this time, what is the problem? Let's check it out here. Again, it is saying in the param missing required param. Weird. Let me just check the log. What do I get in the body? So req.body. Let's check it out. Now this time if I hit this, okay, again a change. Again I need to stop it and run it. Okay, now it's ready. Let's try it. The error is coming up. Okay, it's an empty data. Now that should not have happened because I am having the data out here in this particular manner. Okay, so I got the issue. Basically, the issue is related to this particular one. In our Ionic application, we are passing the HTTP params. Well, why this is creating a problem? Let me explain you. So for the backend, I have arranged in this particular manner. Now out here in the backend, what we are doing is we are setting the express.json function, which will take all the things that you're passing as a JSON format. Okay, so there are two options. Either we can pass it in this particular manner or in the body parser format we can send, where we can call the URL encoded format. Okay, now since we are calling JSON function, that means we don't need to use this functionality. Okay, so I can simply comment this up in all places. One way, let me comment out here also. This will be this.data directly. Similarly, in the other functions also, I need to do the same, this manner. Okay, and out here also. Okay, once that is done, everything is ready. Let's try it this time now. So I'll go out here and let's go to the console log. Let me click on the payment sheet. I'll click out here, and in the browser version also it is showing up. Let's try this. So I'll just pass the dummy card number. You can just check it in the official Stripe documentation. You will find it out there, or you can just follow me. Okay, so once this is done, let me just pass the month 12/25 220, and it is asking for the country, region, and postal code. Okay, 100. What if I give India and go for pay? Alright, the payment is done. That's great. And this is the payment intent which we are fetching. Okay. Now the first part of this particular thing up till here is the payment description which we receive. Let me just show you. So I'll just go to the Stripe dashboard. Okay. Let me go out here, and you can see out here Chat GPT option is also there. You can just search in Google and ChatGPT, both results will show up directly. Okay. Alright, I have opened the dashboard in test mode, which you can see out here. Correct. So this is your dashboard where you can see all the description and everything. Now I'll simply go to the payment section. Let's go out there. Okay. So this is the description that we can see out here, which is actually the same one that we have till here. G7. Same G7. So if you just click out here, you can get inside to this particular one, and you will find, well, the payment method, the ID and everything. But the most important part is this particular one, which is the description. Okay, that is actually the ID that we need to save. So this is the one which you can use. Okay, now I'll just close this. And let's try the other one, which is payment flow. I clicked on that and it is coming up. Let's try this one. Alright, the card data is entered. Okay, ready. Let's go for it. And what it is showing up. Okay, this is also done, and I'm getting the confirm result. That's great, in fact. So out here also it is working pretty nicely actually. So in both the cases, I need to return, well, the payment description of what we are receiving, which is actually the payment ID. We can see that. Okay, so let me just do that up out here at the top in the payment sheet at first. So where am I getting it? This is the one. Alright, so I need to send this at the very end. So what am I going to do? I'm going to return payment intent dot split. Okay, because I need to just send before the secret one. Okay, so I need to split it wherever I find underscore. Okay, and then I'm going to slice it. Means whenever we split it up, it will be transform into an array. So whenever you find an underscore, it will be removed and that will be entered into an array. Alright, so I'm going to take only the first two elements of the array. That is why I'll just use slice function, which will help me to achieve that. So I'll just get from 0 to till 2, whatever we have the data, we will fetch it. Once that is done, I'll simply use the join function to join that string again with the underscore. Alright, and that's how I can achieve the proper result which I need. Okay, so even you can pass this in a variable also, or a constant, and return it up, but it's the same thing only. So I'll do it in one go. All right, so that's what I have done out here. That's in fact fine according to me, and I will do the same stuff. Let me copy it up and let me just pass it out here also. Okay, let me just pass it payment intent, because everywhere I'll be fetching this payment intent. Then the Apple Pay also I'll do the same, and finally I will use it out here too. Okay, even you can have a function for doing this stuff if you don't want to repeat. Now returning won't help us, so it's better to pass it in a constant and we can log that up. Okay, so let me just cut this, or let's create a function that would be better, like I said. So return payment split and join. Okay, I'll pass this string and we'll return this particular one. Let me just pass this one only. Okay, and whatever is the result, I'll simply return it. But first let me have it in a constant called result, and I'll simply return the result. Alright, and out here, well, what you can do, you can simply log the result whichever you are finding from this function, or you can log it out here also, console.log result. Okay, and here if you don't want to return, you can simply call this dot split and join and pass your payment intent function. Okay, that's it. Let's copy and paste it everywhere. Out here at first and out here too. Or let me simply find it and I'll replace it with this particular code. Let's do it. It's done. Great. So everywhere it is changed now. Let me cut this and let's try it now. So I'll just click out here, payment sheet. Let me enter the details. All right. And okay, I'm ready to go. Let me hit on pay. Okay, it's done. And you can see out here I am getting the proper result. So that's what I need. Fine. Let's try the Google Pay. I don't think it's going to work. Okay, it didn't work. Even Apple Pay won't work, because Apple Pay will work in iOS and Google Pay will work in Android. So it's time to test it in the real emulator and simulator, not the real device. So let's go for it. I'll simply stop this and we'll sync the project. Ionic App sync. Alright, the syncing is done. Now I'll open it up in iOS at first. Ionic App open iOS. Alright, the Xcode has opened up. Now I'll in fact open Android also. Ionic App open Android. Okay, the Android Studio has also opened up. Now out here I'll simply run it in the iPhone 14 Pro, and in our Android one I'll run it in this particular one. This is my emulator. So now let's first try the Android one. So now if I click out here, well, it is not coming up. And why is that so? Well, in order to check that up, let me go to the browser, and out here I have already opened up the inspect devices. You can simply go for Chrome, /inspect. Only the inspect is enough, and if you hit enter, you will enter this particular page. Alright, now I'll simply go out here and check it up. Okay, the problem is related to clear text not permitted. Alright, I got the error. Now in order to fix this, I need to go out to my code. Well, where is it? This is the particular code. Let's go to Android manifest.xml and scroll to the top. So out here I need to add this particular one. Android uses clear text traffic. I need to set it to true. Once I do that up, and if I just hit enter, run it again, I hope that problem will be solved. Let's try it out. That is needed when you're using HTTP, not HTTPS. Alright, let's try it again. I've hit that, and this time, okay, it opened up and closed suddenly. Why? Let's check it again. What error? Okay, I need to run it again. Let's go out here. Alright, payment sheet failed. Why is that so? Alright, so basically if we run this directly out here, it won't work, because in the backend, what we are exactly doing, let me just show you. In the backend, we are using a particular IP address which is running locally. So in the locally, we cannot run the application on this particular one. Means in the backend, this won't work. Alright, so that is the problem which I am facing out here. That is why that presentation is not working. So we need to run the application locally also. How will I do that? Let me just show you. So I'll just go to my application. Where is it? Yes. And out here I'm already running, but let me just stop this and I'll show you again. So I'm running Ionic App run iOS-L and --external. So basically I'm running live reload on my iOS, and similarly we will run on Android one too. So let me just run this up and I'll select iPhone 14 Pro. Now in the next one, means I'll open up another shell and we'll go for this particular command again, Ionic App. So Ionic App run Android-L-external. So this is my command that I'm going to run. Let me just hit enter, and I get an option to select the emulator. I'm going to select this particular one. So both of them will be running at the same time. Let's check it out. So let me just take this one out of this particular screen and let me minimize it up. Now I have the iOS one and the Android one all together. So now I'll try this time. I'll click out here, and you can see this is coming up. Let's try the same out here also. Alright, this is also working. Let's go for it. The dummy one I'll enter. Okay, this is more interactive in fact. And I get an option to select the country also. So you can select your country. I'm going to select India. Alright, I've selected it up, and it is asking me to pay 1 rupee because I have given that 100 one, right? So that is why it is asking for 1 rupee. Let me go for it. Now the processing is being done. Alright, authentication complete. You may now close this window. Alright, if I close this window, it's done. That's great. You can see that green one that came up and it's gone. So it is working nicely. That's great. Let's try it out here also. Alright, let me fill up all the details. Now let me select this up. I get an option to select a country again. Let me select this. Even you can save it, and I'll go for this particular one. Alright, accept and continue. Go for no thanks. Basically it will open the browser, and from there itself it's going to work. Alright, I think it's done. That's great. If you want to check what exactly happened, you can just check the iOS one in Safari Technology Preview, and for the Android one it's pretty simple. Let's go to the browser, and you need to open up the Chrome Inspect, and I'll go to the Inspect one, and out here you can see this particular result is coming up. So it's working pretty nicely. Alright, let me close this. Now let's try the app payment flow one. This is also coming up. I've entered details out here. Let me go for this one also and enter the details. Alright, both of them are ready. Let me hit on continue out here, and it's opening up the in-app browser, and it is saying authentication complete. In real case scenario, you will get the option like OTP kind of stuff can happen. Okay, if you're going for live one, well, I have already tested. That is why I'm saying I won't show you the live one out here. Okay, we are just working with the test one. But trust me, it works pretty nicely. There are no issues at all. Alright, this is also done. And if you want to test the Android one, you can simply go out here, inspect it again, and you will see again this is coming up. So it's working, right? There are no errors. So we have tested two functionality. Now I simply need to test Apple Pay. Let's check it out how it works out here. Alright, this is coming up. It is asking me to pay the bill. And okay, let me just go out here. It is asking me to select a payment method. I don't know by default whether I can. Okay, cannot set up. Fine. So let me just select this one only. And how do I proceed ahead? Okay, I can't change this. Update billing address. So basically Apple Pay is not set up. That is why it is not showing out here. Otherwise it could have worked. But let me just skip this. Okay. And let me try Google Pay out here. What happens? Let's check it out. It won't work. It is not showing anything. How about Apple Pay trying here? It is not working. But what about Google Pay? Alright. The app crashed. Why is that so? Why did it crash? I need to open it up again. Okay, let's check it out. This time I'll try it again to go for Google Pay. It has crashed. And what is the problem that it is facing? Is Google Pay available? Alright, not implemented on device. So basically there is no Google Pay option available on the emulator. That is why it is giving this error. And you can check also whether the Google Pay application is available or not, something of that kind in your system. So these things might work, but not in the emulators and simulators. You need to work with the real device. So I'll just leave it up to you, because the functionality is fine. There is no issue with the functionality. You can simply go for it and try it out. Alright, so I think it's pretty clear how exactly it is working, and for me it is working pretty nicely, and you can just go for the live one also. Trust me, I have checked and it works fine for payment sheet and payment flow. I haven't gone for Google Pay and this one Apple Pay. Alright, so yeah, it works fine. So this is the whole idea of using the Stripe payment gateway for making the payments, right? So I hope you enjoyed this particular video. So let me know in the comment section how did you like this particular video and what next you want to see. So with this, I'll wrap up this video out here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.